All right, hello everyone. So now we are going to react to Short Fat Otaku, aka Dev, now openly supports assassinating Donald Trump and JD Vance. So yeah, Short Fat Otaku has been on a bit of a spiral for quite a while. He definitely has that TDS real bad. But people have been calling him out for his behavior as well, and he pretends as if he's more principled than he actually is. But, where's that trucker video? God damn it, right? I don't care about anything else. Where's that damn trucker video, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think anytime he makes a statement like this, that everyone should just flood his comment section with trucker video. Just trucker video on its own, right? Captain Rudy says, interesting how Ember publicly defends Leaflet and Celestium, and all of a sudden Leaflet calls Ember her Oshi. She ends up on side scrollers with Leaflet and Celestium, and Leaflet is making an Ember plushie. You're right, it is who you know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just pragmatically speaking, it's like it's basic cause and effect relationship, right? It's like you need to be able to make use of like the systems actually in play. I can't do that right now. That's fine, right? But that just means that I need to get better relationships, and I need to be able to leverage those relationships better. I don't really like doing that because it seems a little bit manipulative when I try to do that, right? Let's see. It's almost as if being a good human pays off. Yeah, I mean, it does. It does, but I'm personally waiting for someone to stab me in the back. I can guarantee you it's going to happen. I've made a lot of controversial statements and opinions, so I am definitely waiting to get stabbed in the back. It's going to happen. It's probably going to happen for one of the British members of the community, to be perfectly honest. But I am waiting for it to happen. Or either that or like a northeastern American, right? Patriot Gestalt says, sigh. I'll try a $50 super chat to get you there. Might work. I appreciate it. You don't have to, but if you do, I do appreciate it. Let's see. Boo Huckley says, bro, he should adopt a better platform, get a better cause. Possibly. I vouch for you. Thank you, Captain Rudy. I would say your best bet into getting on side scrollers is people super chatting them to get you on. Doesn't seem like they read regular chat. I mean, so Pipkin Pippa. I love how we got onto the Dev video, and I haven't talked about Dev at all for the most part in this video. But I'm going to continue, right? Because this is just funnier. Yeah, Pipkin Pippa talked about this when she was talking about how she doesn't read anything below Aka super chats for the most part. And it's just because there comes a point where the actual the situation becomes too much to start paying attention to every single chat, even if there's money behind it, right? So there does come a point where you do kind of have to put a threshold by which these are the ones that get my attention guaranteed. The other things may catch my attention, but these there's a threshold at which it does actually necessitate my attention. Because in the case of Pipkin Pippa, she gets way too many of them to really reliably respond to, right? And in the case of side scrollers, they are trying to have a real conversation with each other, and I like stopping to talk to chat, right? So I'll stop the video and I'll talk to chat, and you have to fuck on, right? But in the case of side scrollers, if they're trying to have a real interview or a real conversation with the person right there, it's not the most conductive to constantly pay attention to chat either. So pragmatically, there is a real reason the way they do it. So let's see. Kevin says, you're a long-form creature, maybe nice and long convo with Nux. I would talk to Nux if given the opportunity. It would probably be an interesting conversation. But I have mixed opinions on Nux. I like the guy. I do like the guy. I think he is a bit of a rug puller in case of the people that come on not ladder puller, not rug puller, ladder puller. I think he is a bit of a ladder puller, but I do think he genuinely means well. Let's see. Relational networks are natural. It's not manipulative if you form friendships rather than doing it for a goal. I mean, yeah, that's entirely fair. It just might be a minor scrupulosity on my own end. Let's see. Oh, did I tell you about the time Cha-Cha Snipe raided Ember and adopted her? That sounds like something she would do. she's really on that warpath to be the mom of the VTubers, eh?
If you think that we are at this point in America, would it be morally justified? I'm just asking, are you being rhetorical, or do you actually believe we are about to go to civil war? Would political assassinations be morally justified at this point?
Do you value your channel?
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Okay, carry on.
Well, that speaks volumes, right? You don't have to like Donald Trump, right? But let's be perfectly honest. Donald Trump isn't nearly fucking as bad as Woodrow Wilson was, right? Donald Trump wasn't nearly as bad as FDR was, right? And this guy is out here being like, yes, this is time to John Wilkes Booth, right? It's like, fucking hell, mate. Let's see. Lux Teaser says, Dev kind of sucks. I've heard of him for a while now, but I'm mainly a follower of Kirsche, so I'm a bit biased. I do like some of the stuff Nux has in the past made. Some of that stuff still does hold up. And I will probably use them as citations in the future, because if it's actually accurate and true, it's accurate and true, even if the guy who says it is a fucking retard, right? But yeah, he has, Kirsche is the superior, like a political, content creator, to be perfectly honest. Patriot Gestalt says, geeks plus gamers read almost all super chats to a fault, but Beardo makes it entertaining. That's fair. She did it on Mother's Day, to which was very fitting. Apparently her chat voted to have Ember adopted. Yeah, that's fair. There was a running joke about how Cha-Cha was looking for a replacement for Fillion. She got that empty nest syndrome, eh?
Hello everyone, Ace here, and
I will say, I did pre-listen to this. I didn't actually pre-watch it, but this was also literally the fucking thumbnail. So I can be forgiven, I would imagine, for being able to call this joke out.
it has been a very, very long time since I've talked about Dev, and to be honest, I've been trying to avoid talking about him, to the tune that I've not covered numerous scandals that he has been involved in.
I mean, to be fair, the guy is kind of a political lolcow at this point, to be perfectly honest. And it's annoying, because he did actually used to make really good content, but, some people, sometimes you just gotta watch someone, decline through dementia.
For months now. However, there is a certain threshold that it becomes something of a civic duty almost, where Dev does something that could reasonably be described as criminal. In this case, openly calling for the assassination of politicians that he does not like, such as J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, for example.
I would say, if there was a situation, right? If there was a situation where a right-winger were to, let's say a right-winger, let's say that there was a Democrat in office and a right-winger was asked that exact same question, and he said, do you value your channel? I would imagine that guy would probably have his door knocked down. Right? I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be a knock on his door. I'm pretty sure his door would knock the floor, to be perfectly honest. And again, that shows you the disparity in how law enforcement is applied, between the left and the right? And that disparity should teach you a lot about the system that we currently live in. Is he as much of a lolcow as Hassan? That's pretty hard. It's kind of hard. It's pretty hard to get to the point of the German brothel user, but maybe one day he'll get there, right? JD Republic says, I see his videos pop up on the feed, and I click interested. I click not interested these days. Pretty much. FBI open up. Exactly, right? Do you value your channel? It's like, just under the table contacting the FBI. It's like, hello, it's me again. Yeah. If that, could you fucking imagine? It's like, well, oh my god, that hypothetical scenario is like, If I had a nickel for every time I was an FBI informant, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
You've entered the territory that, at least under the Canadian law under which Dev operates, what with him being a Canadian citizen, his recent conduct does fall under the purview of being potentially criminal. You know, what with him promoting
That was a joke, by the way.
terrorism in the form of assassinating his political rivals. Dev thinks that's a good thing, apparently. But don't take my word for it. Here's the context of what he has actually advocated for and promoted just yesterday on a live stream debate on Wick TV's channel.
I mean, I do find it kind of surprising that you would be surprised that I also want my side to win then.
Yeah, but this gets into Voshian style territory, right? Where my principle is where, to quote Vosh, right? My principle is winning. I don't give a fuck about principled failure. Principled failure is worth dog shit, right? It's like literally the fucking Vosh playbook at this point.
Especially since, by the way, like until Trump pulled that stunt in 2020, I was not a partisan Democrat supporter. Like I first came to prominence on YouTube in the very small way that I came to prominence, being an anti-SJW, being an associate of Sargon's, talking about cultural issues, and you know, I still don't like woke shit in video games and all that. But you know what? I will take all the woke shit in video games in the world if it means that Trump and MAGA have been purged from the Republican Party, because you know what? Cultural issues aren't the same thing as political issues.
So what are the limits you place on yourself? Like what would you?
So yeah, this is the thing that does sometimes happen, right? Where it's like, again, like you don't agree with this particular group, but for strategic purposes, it is more beneficial for you to side with a particular group, even though you don't actually agree with them, right? This is what he's describing, and sometimes that is actually the way you have to play the game, and sometimes it's really stupid to play the game that way. It is a case-by-case basis, and but Vosh sucks at trying to make a winning argument most of the time. I mean, that's fair, but that's because Vosh is like pure rhetoric and sophistry, to be perfectly honest. There's not an actual philosophical bone in Vosh's body. Like, Vosh is literally the fucking Freeran meme of demons use words to deceive, right? See, Captain Rudy says, I made a joke about Cinevere's stream about how Hassan isn't a lolcow, but rather the farm itself, because he's getting plowed and eaten, and I end up traumatizing her. Portion. Yeah, they probably put that idea in our head, and that was probably not pleasant. Ain't nobody want to see that. Oh my god. It was funny though. It was definitely funny. It's like, yes, Vosh. How much he raged against Lolicon, and then it turned out it wasn't just Lolicon on his fucking computer. It was also literally the song. You know the song I'm thinking about. The fucking and slam my cares away. Oh, what a fucking degenerate, man. Like, actual hypocrite. Hypocrite is not someone who does the opposite of what they say. Everyone fucking does it at some point. A hypocrite is that who preaches what they don't actually believe, right? Anyway, so let's see. Vosh is Vosh, yes. Canadian mind virus, absolutely. He was pretty, and actually, I was going to bring that up. He was pretty open about the horses. That is true. That is true. But Patriot Gestalt actually brings up a good point about the Canadian mind virus. Dev is saying this about a country he doesn't live in. Dev is not an American, and yet he is openly supporting the assassination of an American president. Dev is a Canadian. I think we should probably let that sink in for a moment. He's getting violently. He's advocating violence in a political setting he doesn't even have any stake in. Like, what is the actual stake that he has in Canada land about American elections? Is he afraid that Trump is going to fucking try to annex Canada? I mean, that actually might be one of the things. He probably heard Trump talk about, like, annexing Canada, and he was like, oh, no, I don't want to be an American, right? Which, by the way, I don't support annexing Canada. I know it was a joke. I don't support annexing Canada. Maybe Alberta, but that's about it, right? I guess we could also take Saskatchewan, but again, I would rather not, because the problem with like annexing Canada would be all of the provinces would have to become new states. Like, there was a whole joke about just making Canada one big huge state, and it's like, no, that would never fucking work. That's a retarded idea, right? But, you know, I guess if you were going to annex Canada, you'd have to make each of the provinces their own state, and then you'd have more resources, but you'd also have the problem like Canadians are voting in your election system, right? Let's see. Counterpoint: I don't live in the UK, but that is true. That, you know what? That you have a good counterpoint, actually. It tracks, though. There's been many Canadians that express the same views. Yeah. Well, I mean, Canada's nationalism is also left-wing, unlike the American nationalism, which is like more of a right-wing thing. Canada's a weird place. They didn't really have the their constitution until like the 80s anyway.
Not support in order to achieve that goal.
At this point, next to nothing. I think the Americans are very close to an actual hot war.
Okay, well then at least
an actual civil war.
I don't imagine his suggestion would actually decelerate that. I think it might accelerate it. I do think that, like, again, if there is going to be a civil war, it's going to be the left that wages it first and not the right. Because if we've seen anything, is that the right has a very, very strong humiliation, tolerance. They are very, very willing to be like under the boot, and they're very, very willing to long suffer. And they're not the ones that give, the right is not the one that gives off the revolutionary fever. It's the one whose entire worldview is based on revolution that has the revolutionary fever, unfucking surprisingly, right? And Canada is the second largest country by land area. We'd have a state larger than the rest of the U.S. combined. Is it? Is that true? I don't know if that's true. Ladies and gentlemen, the tolerant left, right? If you don't capitulate to my demands, we kill you. Yeah, exactly. And right? That's the whole thing. Everyone used to say Dev was not Dev. Everyone used to say Destiny was a moderate leftist, and I was like, he's not moderate. He'll talk to you, but he's not moderate. And then, like, he turns out he was even less moderate than I thought, and I didn't particularly think he. But Dev now is like, oh yeah, we can just kill him. Actually, we could just do things. I'm like, well, I can't help but think that, like, if we switched the policies, right, and it was a Democrat in charge and it was a Republican or a right wing or a Canadian who said this, I think that they might be accused of stochastic terrorism. But
because I don't want to get Wick demonetized, but
there's already dead people in the streets, for fuck's sake. The Americans are there.
You accuse me of.
I think the Americans are really close to a hot civil war. There's already dead bodies in the street. The Americans are already there. The fucking, again, this is just catastrophizing.
Moral F-slurring when I called Pisco a tyrant and said I was trying to save my country. I think at this point, since you've said that there is basically nothing that you would not support in order to punish the Republicans, we can at least agree that to the extent that you and Pisco share the same positions, I was correct in saying that this is an overtly tyrannical position, which is probably why I was moral F-slurring, as you put it, in the face of overt tyranny.
Can I ask Dev a question on that? If you think
just real quick, you keep saying it's tyrannical. It's not.
Obviously tyrannical.
It's not. It's overthrowing a tyrant. Violence is not inherently tyrannical. All right. When you're
okay, so Dev does technically have a point here. Violence in and of itself is not necessarily a tyrannical thing, but at the same time, this is tyrannical. Again, capitulate to us or we kill you is a very tyrannical way of doing things. Okay. Amity and Nuka. Hello there, right? Hello, Amity. We're watching Dev spiral out from TDS.
Actually fighting a pure fucking evil faction, which, by the way, is what MAGA has become.
We're pure evil, friends, right? We don't like abortion, right? We don't think Iran should have nuclear weapons because of their, again, Twelverism and, the propensities that they've shown previously beforehand with other things. Let's see, what else is there? We don't like communism. right? We think America's great, actually, right? I was like, yes, we are pure fucking evil. We're ontologically evil, as Dev in a previous video has said about, like, again, what the left views. Incidentally, when he said that, like, why the left hates the right, it's because they define them as ontologically evil. There we go. Dev is defining us, defining the MAGA group as ontologically evil. Even though a lot of MAGA is just, to be perfectly honest, Democrats from the 90s. Let's see. Looks teaser. It's been an idea pushed for a long time. The people in power have wanted to make North American Union for a long time, comprised of Canada, America, and Mexico, Trans-Pacific Partnership, or TTP. Oh, I'm aware of this. The problem is that Mexico is held together by literal cartel violence. Well, I mean, it's being torn apart by it, but to be perfectly honest, like, Mexico was never a stable situation in the first place. And, like, Canada is held together by duct tape and string, right? Canada is, like, constantly on the edge of instability. It's like the most meta-stable thing I've ever seen. I see you hit the auto mod, Captain Rudy. God help you, right? We're talking exclusively land area. Canada is number 4. That sounds more plausible. How dare you not like communism, that fascist, right? See, again, exactly, right? But the communists do say that, right? You don't like communism, you're a fascist, even though literally fascism is a distillation of communism that happened because the Italians were, again, upset with the internationalism of Marxism. But, you know, the message got sent, but then it got deleted. Who the fuck deleted it?
Yeah, when you actually start fighting them and you're like, oh, shit, it's actually a war now. We got to fight. That's not tyrannical. That's war.
Hey, can I?
Okay.
Now I have a question, though, for Dev.
I bet you do, Wick.
So, if you think that we are at this point in America, would it be morally justified? I'm just asking, are you being rhetorical, or do you actually believe we are about to go to civil war? Would political assassinations be morally justified at this point?
Do you value your channel?
Okay, that's all I need.
So, fun fact, the Catholic Church is actually very adamant that political assassinations are not allowed. But, you know, that's neither here nor there.
Did know. Okay, carry on.
So, and actually, I can't help but notice Trump didn't assassinate Maduro. Right? He took Maduro for prosecution. He did, you know, they did kill Khomeini, right? But let's be fair, that would have been a far more dangerous extraction plan, right? And again, didn't kill the president of Cuba, right? Just embargoed him with the hopes of collapsing the government. Captain Rudy said, oh no, wait, hold on. Patriot Gestalt says Canada is culturally French-based. Go figure. Part of it, right? So there's French and British Canada. The British Canada is kind of depends, right? Like Alberta's cool. Ontario, not so much. Thank you for the follow, Yanukai. Let's see here. But yeah. Canada is a intrinsically unstable union, to be perfectly honest. I don't think Canada will last will last as long as the United States has, to be perfectly honest. Let's see. I stand. Captain Rudy says, I said I stand corrected. Canada is the second largest country by total area, meaning land and territorial waters. That would make more sense. Countries by land area are Russia, Canada, U.S., China, Brazil. That's what I would have guessed. Okay, that's a fucking, like, that is a actually Kino Nux. Holy crap. Quebec is French Canada. No, there's more than Quebec. There's also the fucking Newfoundland and Labrador and the Maritimes. So there is more French Canada than just Quebec. Quebec is just the one everyone knows.
Oh yeah, as you can see, Dev is just being openly in favor of assassinating his political opposition. He is openly calling for violence in order to achieve his political agenda.
again, I just reverse the situation. I'm pretty sure someone like Dev would accuse me of being a stochastic terrorist if we just flipped this around and I was saying the things that Dev said, right? Like, let's be fair here, right? This also goes back to the thing of like, oh yeah, I would, you know, Dev's like, I would not, I would support basically anything at this point, except for lifting my own fat ass to do it myself, right? Someone else has got to do the thing for me. Someone else has to die. I have more important things to do than to die for what I believe in, right? Quebec is French Canada. The rest is British. Oh wait, I already responded to that. By exclusively land, it goes Russia, China, U.S., Canada. By total area, it's Russia, Canada, China, U.S. That also sounds like more or less what I would have guessed.
When you're doing that to civilians, that is ultimately what, at the end of the day, makes it terrorism. And of course, for all of Dev's talk of there already being blood in the streets, he of course hopes you kindly ignore the fact that it is the left that has been responsible for that blood spilling in the streets. Just look at the numerous assassination attempts against the president, leading up to Dev's arguments in favor.
And we recently had, hold on, how long, well, that was not the button I wanted to press. But like, how long ago was this? 2 days ago, right? Yeah, didn't we just have an attempted assassination that was thwarted by law enforcement against the president, where they were doing what Hassan, by the way, said to do? Because Hassan was the one who said, "Oh yes, you know, buy some drones and use that to fight." Right? Just buy a bunch of drones, like from China. Right. Excuse me. The UFC one, yeah. And it's like, but like Hassan literally said how to do this, and then someone went and tried to do it. This is literally what these people have been talking about with stochastic terrorism. It's like, oh, I didn't do it. You can't really trace it back to me because I didn't exactly have any contact with these people. I just put it out there so that some other person, a lone wolf, or some other radical actor will do it for me. That's literally the whole premise behind stochastic terrorism. It's like, how is this not stochastic terrorism? Let's see. Captain Rudy says, about a month ago at the correspondence dinner. Yeah. Let's see. Amity Yanuka said, I've been accused of being a fascist for not liking Palestine, so this word means nothing to me. Well, I mean, fascism does have a real meaning. It's just the left, by making it everything they don't like, has hollowed it out of its meaning. Like, fascism properly understood is the political project of actual idealism, right? It is a daughter religion to Marxism that's just not that's more national, not internationalist. Like, you can actually talk about like what the fascists actually believed, but in order to do that, you have to speak with precision, which is not how the left speaks. They made the word fascist imprecise so they could use it as a weapon. And they will pretend as if it's like, again, there's some kind of like real sociological the utility to using the word fascist the way they do, but no, it's just to sow confusion. JD Republic says, full-on terrorist plan, psyop anime made the best video on it. I plan on reacting to that on the weekend, by the way, because like I saw part of it and I was like, hold on, I need to watch this on stream. That defense won't work. 2 words, Charles Manson. Right? Oh my god, right?
Of assassinating the president, some of which resulted in very real loss of life to random innocents, who Dev then tried to smear by lying about them.
I mean, yeah, he did mock Corey. I don't remember what the guy's last name was. Corey Camport or something like that. I don't remember what the guy's last name was. But yeah, like, again, the guy who died protecting his family. Yeah, and then Dev goes on and like makes fun of the guy. It's like, oh no, that's in bad taste.
Needless to say, Dev is actually, like I said, entering the territory of actual criminal conduct, though, by just openly promoting terrorism, as seen with his conduct just yesterday. Which leads me...
It's like, we don't allow slander in free speech, because slander is not really free speech. The entire point of that is, like, slander is a spell made to, again, have real causal effect on someone. It's the same thing with, like, promoting terrorism. There's a reason that that's not really free speech, is because, again, you're trying to effecate a real thing into coming into being. Specifically, an attack on, an attack that creates compliance through fear. Yeah, this is not free speech. This is literal spellcasting. He'll regret socialism when his drill sergeant demands exercise. That's fair, right? let's see. There is an element of treating the state as deity in fascism. It's been a while since I reviewed the text. There is. So the state is defined as the collective of all human endeavor, and the actual idealist believes that the reality is itself the interplay between human minds, right? So that's why it's, again, everything within the state, nothing outside the state, nothing against the state. Is a literal, metaphysical doctrine of fascism. Everything within the state is because the state is the collective of all human activity. It is the interplay of human consciousness that creates reality. So literally everything is within the state because the state is God. The state, literally, the collective of all human activity or consciousness, actually generates the world around it, creates the world. Nothing against the state, because again, since if they can control human minds, then they can literally rewrite reality the way that they see fit. And then so that's nothing outside the state. And did we already cover nothing against the state? Yeah, everything inside, nothing outside, and then everything, nothing against. Yeah, so that would cover it all. So yes, the state is literally God in fascism. So there's actually very few fascists. There are other things, right? And Nazism is not a form of fascism. Nazism is a different error. But let's see. If he is lucky enough to not be disappeared, so he isn't a threat to the new regime, right? Cough, cough, China, cough. Yeah.
To me deciding to take action on this. Before I continue, I should mention one little bit of context here. This is Dev's own personal YouTube wiki page that is publicly available for all to see. You may notice that literally the first piece of information that is contained within it is his full legal name. It has been there for years. Here are logs to show that it has not been.
I am a little disappointed that he showed a picture that has the... I mean, I'm not as fat as Short Fat Otaku, right? I mean, fat's in the guy's name, right? Let's be fair, right? But that being said, I'm kind of disappointed that I have that exact same Flash shirt, just in a smaller size that actually fits me. He had to show a picture where the guy was wearing one of my shirts, basically, and I'm like, damn.
Changed for months. So when I decided to let the law enforcement authorities of both the US and Canadian governments aware of Dev's behavior, it is not doxing for me to use his full legal name. It is, again, the first piece of information on his own personal YouTube wiki page.
Okay, so he's using this to give, because he actually uses it in the tweet, right? I'm going to read the tweet. So, hey, at FBI and at RCMPGRC Police, you might want to have a look at this Canadian citizen named Devon Del Vecchio, of course he's Italian, who is openly calling for the assassination of American politicians he does not like. Hey, at FBI Director Cash, you may want to check out this activist openly calling for the assassination of American politicians. Yeah, I actually think that Ace is probably completely justified in doing this. If I found out a friend of mine was doing this on stream, I'd probably be like, well, I'm not going down with you, right? Right? I'm not going down with you. No assassinations on my watch.
It has been up there for years, and using his full legal name, it is hoped, would actually make it easier for any potential investigations by the authorities on this particular matter. So when Dev tries to claim that I somehow provided forbidden information that nobody knew, that's a lie. It's information that he allowed to stay up on his own personal YouTube wiki page for years. And he is now only complaining because I provided the information to the authorities over concerns of his criminal conduct.
Okay, so let's pause this so we can read the other thing. Okay, I gotta do two of these then. So this is from Dev. Bro, hold the fucking phone. At Ryan McMully. It's totally fine if you think I lost the debate and you want to gloat about it. That's normal and expected. It's fucking unhinged for your post-debate rhetoric to consist of you retweeting my docs from a guy who has stalked me from years. Okay, so he's complaining that Ace, quote-unquote, doxed the guy, which I don't really think is the case. I'm pretty sure they've literally... I mean, Dev has, shown his actual face before, so it's like... I highly doubt he was actually doxxed. Again, as he said, that information was up. He knew this information was up. But anyway, so
to the authorities over concerns of his criminal conduct. But I hear you ask, did Dev actually learn his lesson and decide that
Probably
maybe
not.
trying to promote terrorism and assassinating political leaders that you don't like is a bad idea? Well, no, he has since decided to double down and openly argue that yes, killing politicians is a good thing apparently.
here's my view of political assassination summed up in one image. Fucking Sic Semper Tyrannis. I'm not going to get banned for titty on the flag, am I?
Even going so far as to evoke the words of John Wilkes Booth right after he had shot President Lincoln. And yes, I know John Wilkes Booth isn't exactly the originator of the quote. However, in the context of the assassination of U.S. presidents specifically, or indeed U.S. politicians in general, the reutterance by John Wilkes Booth right after he had shot President Lincoln is how most people in the U.S. remember that particular quote. So yeah.
I don't know if he actually thinks this, but what are the odds that Dev thinks that Abraham Lincoln was the good guy in that conflict, and then like he's just quoting fucking the guy who assassinated who he believes to be the good guy in this, in that entire conflict, right? It's like, what the fuck are we doing here, my guy? Right? Are you a neo-Confederate? Why are you doing this? Of course, I don't think he's a neo-Confederate, but you know.
Yes, we have now entered the territory of Dev just openly promoting terrorism through his open promotion of the assassination of political figures. At the end of the day, this isn't really that much of a surprise. Dev's own positions were inevitably going to lead him to this conclusion someday. I recognized this years ago. It's one of the multitude of reasons why I have opposed him for a while. Hopefully this is the last video I ever have to make on Dev, but that's not because I expect Dev to actually get better or more sane. I think he is going to end up getting even more crazy as time goes on. It's just a case that his decreasing relevance is fast catching up with him, which is why he has had a dead channel for a while now. He is speaking to an ever-shrinking platform due specifically to his conduct, to the tune that even some of his supporters like Wick are starting to disavow some of the crazier things he has said. Is Wick going
Is this possibly part of the reason why he thinks that this violent rhetoric is necessary? Not necessarily to get views. I'm just spitballing here. Is it possible that he believes he's being reasonable, and that the people leaving him is an indication that people that like things are becoming more unreasonable instead of more reasonable, right? Because again, it's like if you believe that the reasonable option is this, and then people are leaving you for it, then presumably he may actually think that people are actually not, they don't actually want the reasonable option, or what he believes to be the reasonable option. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. That might make sense to someone, maybe not me. Captain Rudy says GRC is the French abbreviation for the RCMP. JD Republic says the first people communists get rid of after consolidating power is the intellectuals and the activists, because they're the ones with the skills to start another revolution. Yep. Lux Tizer says, I don't know if you ever heard of Noah Yuval Harari, but he's Klaus Schwab's right-hand man. I definitely recognize that name. And he talks about using tech surveillance and tech to take away free will in his own words. Yeah, I mean, that was predicted in 1984, right? Let's see, image, imagine if he was secretly the Flash. Good thing he, the run limit is 1 minute. Oh, good lord. I hope he steps on a model, on a metal D4. Ooh, yeah, that would be pretty bad. Let's see. Okay, so, hello, Gravenlow. At least it would be funny if he started going about on the South Rising again. Yeah, there was always that one. It's like, oh no, like, oh, Noise Maze 4, hello. It's like, oh no, is this the woke ass Canadian dev guy? Yes. JD Republic says, imagine if the Dems lose in the midterms despite not living in the US, he will go bananas. I would really love to see him just like crash out from that, to be perfectly honest. In me, there are two wolves, both of which kind of want to see Dev crash out, but for different reasons. See, Thomas, hello, Thomas, says maybe it's more that all that remains of his audience is reinforcing his position. That might be the case, but Dev has also been the kind of person to tell his audience to go fuck themselves. So I do think that maybe there might be some audience capturing here, but not in the way that we would traditionally think. I think that, again, he might be being gassed up for some of this by his audience. Hello to you too, right? Gavin Rudy says, it's like the anti-vaxxers who think vaccines cause autism, see a doctor that support their theory, the vaccines cause autism, and get their medical licenses revoked, and the CC, they're trying to silence us. Kind of, yeah.
Going to abandon him? No, of course not. At least not right now. Wick's a snake, and a particularly unprincipled one at that. He won't come out and openly say assassinating political opposition is a good thing, actually. Instead, he's going to distract as much as possible from the fact that Dev argued that.
I have no idea who Wick is, to be perfectly honest. I've never actually seen a Wick video.
He's going to go, oh, look at the poor widow victim that is Dev, who had information that he allowed on his own personal YouTube wiki page for years to be presented to the law enforcement agencies of 2 different countries. And of course, Wick hopes that you completely ignore the fact that this was done very specifically because Dev's own conduct is such that an investigation is legitimately warranted in this situation. Wick also, of course, would hope that you kindly ignore the fact that when called out on his bullshit, Dev decided to double down with his post evoking John Wilkes Booth. You know, the man that was upset that the country that was formed by a bunch of angry Democrats lost their attempt at rebellion. With all of that said, if you're in agreement with my position that maybe the authorities should investigate Dev over this, since, like I said, he's promoting terrorism through promoting the assassination of...
I actually agree with Ace. I think that making the call was actually the right move here. Because, again, like... Personally, to me, this seems like it would fall under stochastic terrorism at the least. And yeah, sure, it would be really fucking hard to get him under stochastic terrorism. But it's like, again, it does seem like the principle of the matter. Also, by the way, I understand chat is blocking this, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make chat disappear for a moment. What a fucking like thumbnail and title. But anyway, chat's back on. Hold on. Noise Maze said, I actually used to watch Dev and thought he was fairly reasonable up until the point where he started going super TDS when Trump was running a second time. Then I stopped. Yeah, a lot of people have that. He had a good video about how Vosh is evil, though. Oh, yeah, that is a good video of his. Again, some of the stuff that he has previously do still hold up. Captain Rudy says Hassan has actually said that. He straight up said he wants the streets to run red with capitalist blood. Yeah, he'll say he's being rhetorical, but let's be fair. We all know that he's not. Let's see. Blue Huckley said he's so unhealthy for so long it's eroding his humanity. Not joking. I mean, possibly. Yeah, I mean, your gut microbiome does affect your cognition. JD Republic says him and his audience are circle jerking each other. There's an image I didn't need in my head. Lux Tizzer said, I would say 1984 is the tech light version compared to Schwab's fourth industrial revolution, or Zbigniew Brzezinski. That's definitely a Polish word. Between two ages, yeah. Well, Klaus Schwab and like all of those people like George Soros, they're attempting to do social alchemy. So yeah, Dev secretly complimenting Trump as Lincoln Reborn. I'm gonna run with that because that's just really fucking funny.
Political figures he doesn't like, then I will, for your convenience, include a link to my tweets on this matter in the description below.
All right, so that's going to be it for this particular episode. That was our video on reacting to Ace 1918. Again, hopefully that was transformative. I didn't really have that much to say about some of this. Oh, wait, actually, before we go, hold on. I think Rudy actually linked me something about, hold on, where the fuck was it? It was a while ago. Here it is. I think this is the one you sent me for this conversation. So let's see what this is. Okay, that's totally different. I thought you sent me the Vosh clip. Oh my god. So okay, so that is definitely the end of the video for the Ace 1918 video. In general, I agree with the reason that he called the FBI, that he informed the FBI. I think that was probably a prudential move on his part, because even if it turns out Dev isn't actually planning to do anything, if he was planning to do something, he could have been potentially fucked over by not making that report. Fuck Soros, he give Jews a bad name. He does more than that. He does a lot more than that. And Soros, yes, and Soros is evil. Midna saved Zelda. Yep. Let's see. Better than the Vouch clip. Yes, definitely better than the Vouch clip. I actually can watch Cine. Cine's actually entertaining and actually knows more than Bosch. But all right, so that'll be the end of this episode. I'll see y'all in the next episode.